Hey guys, good afternoon and welcome to Praise Dance according to Acts. Today I'm going to be dealing with A, which stands for adoration. So I'm going to give you a small definition as well as an example to explain and just to give you a framework of what adoration means, okay? So adoration means to worship, to honor, to regard with loving admiration and devotion, to be very fond of. And admiration means to respect and warm approval. So an example of that is if you're in a relationship, whether it be a friendship status or a dating status, you notice that couples have a very high respect and appreciation for the other person. So they're feeling and they're noticing and they're also admiring that person's, their mannerisms, their characteristics, their attributes. They're really respecting and they're admiring, and as well as acknowledging what that other person possesses and who they are. So that is today's lesson on adoration. And again, I'll give the definition one more time just as a recap. So the definition of adoration means to worship, to honor, to regard with loving admiration and devotion, to be very fond of. All right, guys, take care. Have a good day. Okay guys, so in this video I'm going to discuss how to show adoration towards God in two ways. So the first way is adoration should be a God-centered lifestyle that should be displayed on a daily basis. So one, behind closed doors, always have prayer. Two, read your Bible and do a devotional. Like I said, you can do Our Daily Bread or pick any type of devotional app or any devotional from the internet that you can do that's God related, that has topics that talks about God, and also Bible verses, and also that has simple prayers as well. Number three would be being a witness to others, and that's very simple, just little random acts of kindness. So example of that would be holding the door open for a stranger and not expecting a thank you. Another way would be volunteering to treat your coworker out to lunch, or if they miss the ride home and they need, if they miss the bus or the train home, volunteer your time to just, offer them a ride home or to the nearest bus stop or the train station. Okay, so that's just an example of being a witness to others. Number two, adoration is acknowledgement of God's power and glory, and there's three areas where that is shown. So first area, number one, will be knowing God, and you can find that in Luke chapter 1 verses 46 through 48. Within that verse, it talks about Mary's soul and her spirit glorifies God because he is mindful of the humble state of his servant. Again, and you can find that verse within Luke chapter 1 verses 46 through 48. The second area of adoration is heartfelt, and that's found in John chapter 4 verses 23, and it talks about worshiping God in spirit and truth. So I've been hearing that verse for so many years, but I never understood what it meant. So when it talks about worshiping God in spirit, it means that our spirit must be aligned with God and not based on fleshly emotion. So when you come to God in a state of, admiration and worship, God really wants a loving heart to worship and adore him. He wants something genuine. So you should never come before God with this lackadaisical attitude, or, oh God, I want to be here, well, what time is it, I need to get this done and over with. Never treat God like a checklist, because he's looking for something genuine, and you should have a desire to spend time with him and just to get to know who he is. Okay, which leads me to worshiping God in truth. And basically what that means, your worship needs content. So that's where the Bible and the devotional comes in handy. It's one thing to read the Bible and put it to the side and said, okay, I'm done. But do you really understand what you've read? There's so many translations and commentaries that, you shouldn't just be able to walk away and say, okay, I read my Bible, but do you have an understanding of it? So that's where the commentaries and devotional, just to add meat to the couple of verses that you read, just to give you an understanding. And the principle behind that would be, you can't worship and understand something if you don't spend the time getting to know what that thing is. And that applies to, admiration and worshiping God. You really can't worship something if you don't know anything about it. And I'll give you an example. That's like you want to get to know this person and you're dating this person, but you're taking the time out to getting to know who that person is, their likes, their dislikes, their hobbies. You're trying to get to find out about them. Well, the same thing or the same action should be taken towards God. You really want to spend time and get to know who he is, and that is a state of adoration. And the last area I want to discuss is known as reserved for God only. And you can find that in Revelation chapter 19, verses 6 through 10. The first couple of verses 6 through 9, it discusses how John receives this revelation from the angel of the Lord, and he becomes so overwhelmed about this revelation and vision of the New Jerusalem that he begins to fall down and worship the angel. But the angel tells him, and the key verse is 10, the angel tells him, don't worship me. I'm nobody. I'm just a messenger. You need to leave all that expressive stuff that you're doing, leave that to God and not to me. So again, the three areas within acknowledging God's power and glory, just as a recap and a review, is knowing God. And you can find that within Luke chapter 1, 46 to 14, having a heartfelt adoration towards God, and that's found in John chapter 4, verses 23, and leaving your worship reserved for God only and nothing else, and that's found in Revelations chapter 19, 6 through 10. But the key verse within that would be verse 10, and how the angel of the Lord explains to John, like, hey, don't worship me. I'm just a messenger. Leave your worship and your expressive acts of adoration towards God. Okay, I hope this was helpful, guys. Subscribe to this channel. Leave any comments that you want, opinions, thoughts. Please leave it in the box so I can, think about what you said and we can have dialogue. Okay, thanks so much and have a blessed day.